Hey guys, I wanted to talk about this incident between Terry Crews and DL between Terry Crews, DL Hughley, and Tyreek Nasheed. And I gotta say, I for the most part don't feel sorry for Terry Crews at all because, well, he, normally you would feel sorry for somebody for somebody who's been groped, who's been touched and they didn't want to be touched or anything like that because that's pretty bad for someone to grab them without their permission, especially in the genital area or their or their or just in any private place where you should never touch anyone. I can see if he tapped him on the shoulder or something like that. That's understandable. But I can't feel sorry for a guy who's pretty much 6 feet tall or 6'2" and over 240 pounds. And that 240 pounds is a solid muscular 240 pounds. And before he ever became an actor, he got into professional football. He played professional football for 7 years. I can't feel sorry for the guy. And let me tell you why I can't feel sorry for the guy. One reason why I can't feel sorry for him is because, for one thing, he's had a very questionable past with black people. His views on black people has been worthy of being questioned because he said some things that really pissed off a lot of people, and now he's looking for sympathy. Normally, I would give him sympathy, but the thing about it is, he, you know, you just can't. How in the world are you going to let anyone, I don't give a damn who it is, grab you grab you where you don't want to be grabbed? How does and then your response is, as a black man, you only get one chance. Okay. And you don't make this guy play scavenger hunt with his teeth because you're so afraid that your wife is looking or your wife stops you. I'm just curious, what kind of woman is your wife if she doesn't do anything about it, or she doesn't allow you to knock the guy on his ass? That's what I want to know. And here's the thing, and here's another problem I'm having with Mr. Cruz. He's talking about toxic masculinity. He wants to bring up toxic masculinity now. Okay, this guy, if he's the poster child of toxic masculinity. I mean, and not only that, in just about every movie he's ever been, he's been a buffoon. He's been played as a clown. He's done all these things. And again, before I go any further, don't get me wrong. I don't hate that the guy has muscles. I wish. The thing is, at almost 50 years old, and he looks like that. I don't begrudge the guy. Not at all. I don't begrudge him at all. But I can't help but see that there's a lot of hypocrisies there. There's a lot of hypocrisies in his that he has. And it took me a while to figure this out. But this guy, he goes on a premiere, I think it's the red carpet or whatever, with his cast members from The Expendables. He's the only guy that takes off his shirt and he's posing. Why? If I had muscles like him, if I had his muscles, I wouldn't be taking off my shirt to pose. Not that I'm ashamed of that. Hey, I'm not. I wouldn't be. But all the other cast members from that movie franchise have muscles too. But they didn't rip their shirts off and start posing. They didn't do that. They didn't do that at all. They just came in their suits. They came dressed up and ready to be professional. This guy just took off his shirt. He ripped off his shirt and he just posed like he's like he's in a bodybuilding contest. I don't understand it. He's just doing that's not the only thing. If you check out any of his movies, like especially Friday After Next, he's also playing the role of a guy that just came out of prison, and he wants to fuck Ice Cube and Mike Epps. He almost rapes. He almost rapes Cat Williams' character Money Mike in the movie, and yet this is what it's come down to. Look, okay, and now he's talking about toxic. He's waging a campaign against toxic masculinity, and he's wearing a pink tutu. I could go on further with some of the buffoonish roles he's had in movies, especially White Chicks. Don't get me started with a movie like White Chicks. Oh, that was his role was horrible. But moving on. The thing about it is this guy has, he's, like I said, I would like to feel sorry for him, but there's just too much out there for me to not feel sorry for this guy, to not feel any empathy or feel bad for this guy. There's too much out there. And then he has enough, since he's talking toxic masculinity. Why is it that it's easy for him to make threats to whip DL Hughley's ass, but he won't whip the ass of the guy who grabbed his nuts? Can anybody answer that for me? He will whip DL Hughley's ass. He'll slap the shit out of DL Hughley. If you don't believe me, check his tweets, or they're out there. You can check that out on YouTube. He'll slap the shit out of DL Hughley. He'll go back and forth with an argument with Tariq Nasheed, but he won't beat the living hell out of the guy who groped him. Can someone please tell me what's wrong with that? I don't want to hear anything about, well, he's just showing class, I don't want to hear any other bullshit anybody's got to say with that. Because to be honest with you, his explanations as to why he's got enough hair on his nuts to make threats with those two men that look like him, but he won't beat the hell. He won't knock the teeth out of the guy who grabbed his nuts. Please tell me that. I'm ready for any bullshit. I'm ready for any bullshit that might come down I want to hear it. I really want to hear this, because there's no excuse as to why he couldn't beat the shit out of the guy. There's no excuse. But yet he'll make threats to the other guys. He'll make threats to the other guys that question him. Yeah, I think he's the wrong candidate for toxic masculinity. He's the wrong candidate. And then he goes, I guess, a Senate hearing talking about this bullshit. Man, I'm so sick of Terry Crews. It's not funny. And again, I don't begrudge the guy for having a great body. I really don't begrudge him. As a matter of fact, when I agree with DL Hughley 100% when he says, when you have a body like Terry Crews, there are only two reasons. The only reason why you could have a body like his is you're beating the hell out of people that gave you problems in life. When you get big, when you want to grow up, you grow up to be big, so that way no one can ever push you around again. You take martial arts, you learn boxing, you learn all forms of fighting, so that way no one will ever pick on you ever again, or no one will ever harass you ever again. Those are the only reasons. Those are the only reasons why you have muscles. And here's another reason. There's another reason why you have muscles. And pardon my language. Another reason you should only have muscles is to be a pussy magnet. Yeah, I said it. Now I'll take that back. You can you're either getting muscles because you want to impress the women, or you might even want to impress men. But the fact of the matter is, the only reasons why you have muscles, the only reason why you have muscles is to be a badass on the streets, or in the ring or whatever, and to attract women, to attract the opposite sex, or even the same sex. There are no other reasons why you should have muscles. There are no other reasons why you should learn how to learn martial arts. That might sound shallow, but hey, guess what? That's a fact of life. Now, here's another thing. Why in the world would someone try to, why would you want to, why in the hell would you want to look like, why would you ever in your life want to look like Terry Crews, and you don't use those muscles or whatever to beat the crap out of people that give you problems? I can't find any other reasons why you want to have muscles. Because I know one thing's for certain. If I wanted to have muscles, my two reasons are only to get better at beating people's asses, and to get some ass. Those are the only two reasons to have muscles. So I don't know what Terry's deal is, but I hope even more people see through the bullshit, and I really, really, really hope they see through his war on toxic masculinity bullshit, because that's really some bullshit. Terry, here's the thing, if you hate toxic masculinity so much, give up your fucking muscles. That's what you do. Give up your muscles and don't do any more scenes where you're trying to rip your shirt off, because that's real stupid. That's very hypocritical of you.